Oh wow, we get a Berkowitz and TGBH in the same room.
Yeah.
A gift.
Those guys out of there.
Okay, you're live on Twitch and you can set up the screen share and introduce yourself, and I'm leaving you. And I'll turn the hosting thing over to Adam
Okay, fantastic.
or Michael. It's being assigned to Michael.
Okay, he's more responsible anyway. It's okay.
Oh, I'm not sure about that. All right, hi everyone, welcome. We are watching the first segment of the finals for USA2 for the senior team trials to go to Marrakesh, Morocco. I am joined by my father-in-law to my right, who's Eric Robinson, who won a bronze at the last World Championship. Is that right? And Adam Kaplan. Say hi, Adam.
Hi. Morning. I'm going to be watching the Twitch chat as well. So if people are hanging out there, I will try to see your messages and respond to your messages when I can. And we have your actual father at the table, which is exciting.
Bob Hammond, of course, is my father. We know that. It's a poorly guarded secret in the Brit world. And yes, full disclosure, my father is sitting west and my boss is sitting east. So I might not be too critical of anything that they do, but you know, if they screw up, we'll say it anyway. That can be Adam's job, who delights in doing that.
Yes, exactly. So and sometimes I've even been wrong, which has been I have to be careful criticizing and then being wrong. That's the important. I'm going to criticizing to make sure that it's that I'm correct, at least. Here we see
first time they've reached a 21-point game with a good amount of distribution.
Yeah, I mean, Hammond's jump to 3 hearts is becoming more of a modern standard, right? That when you have an unbalanced hand with shortness, you have shortness somewhere, you have 4 card support for partner. A lot of times people are jumping to 3 hearts lighter and lighter. And this hand certainly is, I would say, pushing the limit of that.
Yeah.
But you know, it has such playing strain, and you know, Weichel as well has a void and some shape, and you know, this is a pretty good 21-point game as far as
Larry Cohen came off to a good lead of a trump to try to cut down the roughing values, and David was able to continue trumps after getting in with the ace of clubs.
Yes, and it doesn't look very likely that Larry is going to be able to get that 3rd trump out, but you know, even just having led trumps twice significantly cuts down on the number of tricks Declarer really has here.
Yeah, so from here, he's still got some, let's see, rest of club. Is he going to have to guess spades, or does he not need to guess the spades?
Well, he's hoping that clubs are not 5-2 as they are, and so you know, on the ace of diamonds, let's say, you know, if he is forced to take that pitch before he finds out that clubs are 5-2, he may be a spade and yes wrong there. It seems more likely to me, though, that at this point he probably plays a spade and tries to guess the spade suit, hoping that he can sort of still have the communication necessary. And if he cashes the ace of diamonds, he just blows open the diamond suit for the defense to tap him in his hand, which is a problem here.
All right, so from his perspective, he sort of feels like he might be able to lose 2 spade tricks anyway.
Yeah,
as long as the clubs are behaving.
Right, but if he now tries a spade to the 9, Larry can win the jack, play a spade to the ace, and get a rough. So that line would go down. So he's
well, I mean, the king of spades is a little bit better in that, you know, it may prevent this sort of situation of losing to the Jack Doubleton and then suffering a rough. But he's almost certainly now going to lose a trick to the Jack of Spades as well. And it's just a question of whether he can sort of recover enough from there.
Yeah, I mean, if David wins the ace now, and then just to a diamond, that's gonna, well, then he'll be safe, because then he can pitch the club, pull the trump, and even if he loses another spade, that's only the third defensive trick.
Right. In fact, he may play a spade to the queen, and that's in that variation. But David can kind of see exactly as what you described about to happen. He doesn't know necessarily how good Declarer's clubs are, though, right? He doesn't know that Declarer has the king queen of clubs. From his perspective, Larry could still have one, or could still have either of those. In which case, Declarer has would have a lot more work to do, and he can survive by winning the ace of clubs or ace of spades.
Yeah, so I can see that this particular play has caused my father some consternation. I don't blame him. He has to figure out, this is like a classic example of don't win the trick until you know what you're going to do next. So
I don't see a way for David and Larry, or for Declarer, to go wrong on this hand at this point. I think he's going to bring home this contract.
I think double dummy, their best shot would have been to duck the king of spades in tempo, win the jack of spades on the second round, and play a diamond. And at that point, Declarer still has to drive spades. They can't do so safely.
Well,
No,
hypothetically, couldn't
no.
he still duck a spade now and still?
No, but no,
Cause
but
some
can he
problems?
just win the ace pitching a club, pull the trump, and lead another spade, and claim?
If he's already lost one spade trick, yes. But if he hasn't, then there's a chance that he loses two spade tricks and he doesn't get to enjoy his fourth spade.
No, I'm saying the king of spades, if he ducked the spade, run around to the jack, there's still a spade and dummy he can lead when he wins the diamond and dummy.
Maybe right. Yeah, I guess he could just cash the ace hearts. So that's
That, yeah. By ducking it, I don't know why.
Oh boy. Oh, I think I see what's going on. Is he's confident that David has the ace of spades, so he's drawing the last trump and just going to lead a spade to the queen. And
I see, right.
Yes.
Right, that's the ducking smoothly.
Yes. Hi, Dana. Morning. We have a
Hello.
surprise visit from Dana. I think she may have some work to do also, but
Who's Dana?
I don't know. I'm here to heckle. I was told that was permitted.
Bob Hammond's daughter. We already established earlier that Michael is Bob Hammond's son, and so that I guess means that you were his daughter. Congratulations.
I'm thrilled. I'm a little confused, but that's not unusual.
It's okay. Mom definitely hasn't figured out how to turn this on yet, so.
Getting regular updates from her, complaining.
She I don't know if she's watching or not. Oh, okay. So we get to see our first strong club opening, precision. Dad and Larry are playing sort of an old-fashioned version of this, so I think he'll bid two clubs next. So that's sort of normal. A diamond overcall. Two clubs would be natural and positive.
Bob Hammond is often try to do over a strong club is if you're able to interfere in the auction and get in there, you try to do so. And even though vulnerable, he has a very sound one diamond overcall. of the club.
Adam, you're a child. Would you bid two diamonds or one diamond?
I think with that diamond suit, I would be really tempted to bid 2 diamonds.
I think I would be too.
The only reason I wouldn't is because I'm red white, and
Yeah,
I'm 6-3-2-2. I'm red white. There's just enough there's just enough danger there to where I think bidding 2 diamonds is not a good idea at these colors. In any other circumstance, I probably would. And yeah, this is actually sort of when you're happiest to open a strong club, of course, is when your opponents are vulnerable, or at least when you're vulnerable, because you get less interference. And I personally think that the strong club is unplayable when the opponents are not vulnerable. But
A lot of people don't play it when the opponents are non-vol.
well, maybe not a lot of people, but Brad and Joe have certainly sort of started that trend of trying to switch things around when the opponents are vulnerable, or are not vulnerable.
Is it when the opponents are vulnerable? I thought it was when they were vulnerable.
It is, sorry, yes, it is when it is their vulnerability. They do it when they're not vulnerable versus vulnerable. But it's sort of the same sort of implications where when they open a strong club and they're not vulnerable, their opponents are less likely to really be jumping around and getting in their face.
So this is a rematch, right? Of Hammond versus Wolfson?
no, they
No?
took Goodman.
Oh, Goodman. Okay. I like the revenge matches that are possible in this format.
So it should be noted that Hammond's team was originally 6-handed, but they're down to 4 because of an illness. So they're playing this lineup the entire time.
I see.
Wolfson has taken a big lead, and I think the match might be over now. I would stop it now before anything bad happens.
Yes.
Well, this description of one club or of 3 clubs might meet your definition of something bad happened. So it looks like they have some agreement about the 3 clubs should show hearts here. Had 1 diamond not happened, but he's maybe a little bit unsure in this circumstance. But today, sort of no harm is done since they find their way to the normal 3 now.
Well, right. Was sort of irrelevant whether this was a repeat of clubs or showing hearts. Larry was not interested.
So
Is
Larry
it
might duck this diamond, not knowing that South has 6 of them, to try to limit the ability of North to continue diamonds if he were to win a hypothetical king of clubs or a heart trick at some point. Early on.
I like ducking the first diamond.
Yeah.
It makes a lot of
Yeah,
sense.
there's no shift you're really scared about, and you need time to develop your 8th and 9th tricks here.
And it might put some pressure on one of the hands or other even later on. And I think it probably will in this one. If he continues diamonds, North has no happy discards at any point.
It's true. North is kind of squeezed at trick 2.
Yeah.
The second diamond. Yeah, whatever. If they pitch a club, declarer can go after clubs. If they pitch a heart, declarer can go after hearts. If they pitch a spade, declares 4 spade is good.
Yeah.
So that's
Thanks a lot, partner.
exactly. But I mean, today I would expect they'll probably pitch a heart, would be my guess. But that's really scary with 4 hearts in the dummy. The fact that partners returned the 8 of diamonds as a suit preference, sort of maybe hints that they don't have anything in spades. So he might have been able to work out that he needed to keep all of his spades, but it's very hard.
Well, which suit are you playing for Larry? Oh, he's playing a heart.
I think he played a heart because if the heart, he can play around in the heart suit a bit. The club finesse goes into the safe hand, right? And it's even more safe if the ace of hearts is already dislodged.
Larry might think that North has 5 spades. So he doesn't want
Probably
to,
would.
he doesn't want to sever his communication, so yet by testing the spades, I don't think. So I think he'll either play a club or another
Yeah.
heart.
No, he can't. Yeah, he has entry communication issues back to the East can. There's after if he, if he loses next, if another one, once another spade comes back, that's gonna be the last time he has a clear entry into his hand.
Yeah, which is part of why I think he's leading hearts as well, is that he can lead clubs without necessarily, he doesn't.
Yeah, he can
Yes.
cash all his winners in his hands and then take a safe club finish.
Exactly.
Let's see, he already has 2. He's gonna take 3 spade tricks when he finds out that the spades are splitting. And a diamond, that gets him up to 5, 6. He has a heart now, that's 7, the ace of clubs, and he can just force a club trick, so.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot left at this point.
It's a question of whether the defense gets even one more trick at this point. And I don't
Yeah,
think-
because North is again squeezed.
Well,
in this.
no, North just follows Dummy's cards. So North is going to keep at least as many clubs and hearts as Dummy has in clubs and hearts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So I guess declare can't really stop them from getting one
so
more trick.
he's still going to take, so
They'll get a diamond or a heart or something.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I think Larry's trying to envision the end position just now to see if there was any squeezy thing that would happen.
If there is, it would probably be on. Oh. He knows that South has 6 diamonds. He may think that they only have 2 spades and that North still has, that North is now unguarded spades, but it's still very little use because.
Well, I think maybe if South had 4 spades, it might be. Is that possible? Could South have started with 4 spades?
No, then you can't have a spade diamond squeeze against South.
Right.
And you can't have a heart club squeeze against North. So, I mean, South would have to have the club, either the club or the heart control, the guard. And in that case, if South had either the heart or the club and you pass the winner in the other suit, then you would have a squeeze.
Yeah.
So here he's hoping, let's say South has a 10 and 1 heart. Now he can play a spade, run his winners, and if South had the heart guard, South would be forced to give up he'd be squeezed in hearts and diamonds. So it'd be sort of like a show up squeeze.
And once it doesn't show up,
Because it doesn't show up, it just has a loser. When he,
All right, thoughtful play for no, I mean, it didn't functionally matter, but it's good to be on your game early, just to make sure that you're feeling like you're seeing the positions in case it was relevant later.
AM.
It is a-
Alright. Let's see, is this 7, 14, 15, 16? They
Yeah,
play
for our club.
15 to 17 no trump in this position. So they might just bid a no trump with this hand, 7, 14. I think I would just bid a no trump with this West hand.
It was like a no trump to me. I mean, the
look-
Jack one is reasonably positional. Where I'm
Although
at.
they opened a 14, 16 no trump at some point earlier, so maybe they've lowered their ranges past what they used to be, but
I mean, if their no trump here is 14 to 16, as we will get to see in a moment. Yes, it is 14 to 16. So this is very heavy 14 to 16 for sure.
yeah, I think that's why there was a little hesitation, but all roads lead to 3 no trump no matter what here.
Right. The thing is that it feels a lot better to upgrade into your no trumps than it does to upgrade out of them, especially when you're playing 14 to 16.
Yeah.
The 16s with 5-card suits, it really, I mean, even playing a strong club, it really is kind of rough to to have to open a strong club with some of those because it gets a little bit out of hand. And where compared to, you can just open a no trump, get your hand off your chest quickly.
So here Larry's bid 3 clubs, which is puppet stamen.
Mhm.
That's 3 diamonds is no 5-card major. Larry will bid 3 hearts to show 4 spades, and Dad'll bid 3 no trump. This is sort of the standard version of puppet stamen that's been played for a while. There are some versions where you don't use 3 clubs as the asking bid, use 2 no trump as the asking bid. I don't know how much Larry was willing to update their card.
So this is actually a great hand for 2 no trump puppet from Larry's perspective, because he has 2 little clubs, right? So by bidding 3 clubs, he's a little bit worried that maybe South could make a lead directing double or something, where they might be less inclined to do so over 2 clubs.
Yeah, he would have been a little sick to see a double of 3 clubs if his partner didn't have something.
Right. I mean, today he still has a 4-card major, so he's bidding stamen in some form.
Yeah.
But you can imagine putting a spade in his diamond suit, and now you still kind of want to bid puppet stamen, but you're a little worried that if your puppet bid is 3 clubs, it's going to get doubled, and so you're sort of trading off just slamming 3-0 and calling it a day versus that.
So a diamond lead is annoying, although it's the 2 of diamonds,
Fourth.
and
Yeah, 4th best leads.
they're leading 4th best, so that's going to be less scary.
Well, that and the diamond suit is actually blocked.
Right. Well, my father won't know that per se. But the 2 will be fine enough that he doesn't worry. I think he'll just win this and run the 10 of clubs.
Yes.
I think. Oh no. Interesting.
Well, he probably wants to find out if diamonds are, he might have led the 2 even from a 5-card diamond suit. And if in that case, he wouldn't necessarily, he may put off taking a club finesse into the danger hand.
Take enough tricks the other way. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, he could have a diamond, a club, potentially 4 hearts and 3 spades without losing club finesse.
He actually has a bit of a problem here, right? That his spades are blocked, and if he loses a club finesse to North, they can cash a diamond and put a heart through, and that's 5 tricks for the defense, right? So he kind of needs to untangle things a little bit before giving up a club trick, and that may in fact even mean foregoing the club finesse entirely.
Yes. Well, so let's see. He's got a diamond. If he takes 4 clubs,
7, 8. Yeah, that's what I said.
The diamond 4
but
clubs.
he has big problems getting back to his hand to do everything.
Right, which is why I think he'll probably look to win the ace of diamonds, play 2 rounds of spades, and then just play a club out of his hand.
Yeah, but well,
but that of course itself risks potentially getting cut off from his hand.
I was gonna say that risks a hold up or something.
It's not trivial, right? Like I mean, he certainly has to be thinking about doing such a thing, but.
Well, but then he could then switch. If the 10 of club, if he played ace king of spades, win the diamond, play the ace king of spades, play a low club to the 10, and it wins, then he can shift to hearts.
Right, but what do you pitch on the ace of diamonds? If you pitch a heart, you can't switch.
You can't do it. Yeah, no, you have to keep a heart.
Yeah,
here.
I think winning the second round of diamonds would have given him a little bit more flexibility about this. But
yeah. Right, because your hand is almost squeezed on the ace of diamonds here. right? You if you pitch a club, then you still have to, you're potentially still going to have to establish both suits, which is a problem. And here we see, I guess he sees this as ducking a trick to the safe hand almost, where he knows that a heart can't come through, and if they play a club through now, he's home. So this is a creative solution.
Yeah. So club through and a heart.
and
Is
then-
that
yeah,
Yeah.
same problem, right?
yeah?
Because if he wins the ace of hearts, he has the ace of diamonds to pitch one heart, but that's not enough.
With both finesses
Right.
losing,
Yeah.
it seems like it's going to go down.
Well, I mean, it didn't have to go down in so much as he could have potentially gotten out of his own way earlier in the hand, but now this looks like it just might be too much of a mess to untangle, right? Because now a heart return severs the communication.
Right.
Yeah.
If he finds it, which isn't guaranteed.
It isn't guaranteed. I mean, Bob did return a low club, so he might be thinking that Bob has a club on her rather than a heart on her. But
Yeah.
Oh, nice defense.
yes, well done. And yeah, he has no recovery at this point, right?
Yeah.
Because he can win the ace of hearts, unblock and go about unblocking things, but he can't enjoy all of his tricks. He'll always wind up having to give up a heart at the end.
So
You just have to take
key
the
hand
chance.
for the importance of communications between two hands and
Very
you never would have thought on this hand that the opponents would take the first 5 tricks against a 3-note trump contract when you have aces in every suit.
interesting.
Yes.
And at worst, it was on like one of the finesses working, and here that both of the finesses were offside. But
I
it
just
does
stepped
feel like
away and look what happened. This is terrible.
Yeah.
What? Yeah. Oh, did they make it at the other table?
No result yet.
We'll find out soon enough.
I see some supervision is required. Okay.
We were discussing the idea of whether you upgrade no trumps. I know that Dana, you're now anti-upgrading out of no trump, right?
I am anti-upgrading out of no trump.
But pro upgrading into no trump?
If it's the right hand. I think I probably have a different definition of what the right hand is than some others around.
Yeah, a lot of people play any no trump that I'm playing is an upgrade into no trump, and
But I'm privileged to play with very strong partners, so I'm not usually trying to make sure that the right hand is declared, if you know what I mean.
I do know what you mean. All right, right back at it with a strong no trump, 14-16 probably, although they didn't announce the range on this one.
I suspect it is still 14-16.
Yeah, it was second seat red. So go ahead.
Larry
Yeah,
will
so,
get out
so
of his
East is
box.
being 2 spades, which I think sort of a range ass club call, which is finding out both whether the opening no trump bidder is a maximum, but also is the way to get out in 3 clubs, which is what East is going to want to do once David West responds to the 2 spade bid.
And West will show a maximum, but that will be of very little use to him. And it's just a question of whether Hammond will balance back in with a takeout double when it comes back to him. Right?
Although, of course, with the every side suit splitting and the queen of clubs cooperating in this particular way, 3-no trump would come home.
Not if they don't lead a spade.
Doesn't matter. You still have time to lead a spade up.
Oh, I see.
What a hand.
But I'm sorry, Dan, you're assuming they're double dumbing the spades, the club suit, right?
The club suit, they have to double dummy the club suit.
So, right, everything.
If Hammond makes a takeout double, certainly they'll play him for shorts, but.
Yeah.
I would be shocked if they found their way to 3-no trump. And indeed, he does choose to double.
Well, north-south aren't off very much. They're off one in each suit.
There's
So
some-
3-0 is a good
there's some
save
work
against
to
3
do.
spades.
Yeah, there's definitely some work to do, though. I mean, Weichel maybe trying to decide whether to bid spades or diamonds here. I think he may even err on the side of bidding diamonds simply because partner didn't double 2 spades. So it's less likely that they have 5 spades, but possible they have 5 diamonds.
Diamonds is going to be worse because they can get a spade ref.
Yeah. So I mean, at least today he judged well to bid 3 spades. And I'm not sure David's done.
Yep.
Like
But
partner showed clubs, but and he has a lot of he has a very pure no trump opener. I'd be at least tempted to bid out to 4 clubs with this hand.
It's not, I mean, he's got to deal with his 3 clubs. One can go on the hard. He's going to look to rough one. But with this good trump lead here, he may it's not going to be as easy to get that. Let's see. I guess you can still get the club rough in.
You can still get 1 club rough.
Right, but in 1 club, but then you have to give up the heart.
Right.
You have to knock out the ace of hearts
It's
at
out of
some point,
hand.
and they can keep clubs. So it looks like he could lose 2 clubs. Contract can go down there.
I would expect it to go down.
Yeah.
for those
Yeah.
Berkowitzes who are holding their breath, and 3-0 in the closed room, 3-0 also went down a trick.
Phew.
Whew.
Thank you, Michael.
You're welcome. By the way, all of you people who are not technically Berkowitzes, you're now loved ones as well. Welcome to the family.
Big family.
So we're seeing that again, leading Trump is always right.
Quite often when your side has close to half the values and your opponents have bid a lot, yes. And here, I mean, I would imagine he's probably trying to figure out whether he needs, whether to win this in hand, or whether he can afford to overtake with the jack and lead a heart down or something. But indeed, he does do that. But he's still just he only has 1 pitch for one. He can only pitch 1 of his clubs and he can't both establish the heart pitch and take his club rough with the remaining trumps that he has.
Are you sure that Larry just didn't know which the contract was and said, I'll leave my singleton?
I mean, it was very effective. So it's true though, leading a singleton trump is actually rather unusual. You're worried about giving away something in the trump suit when you only have a singleton.
Well, I think here Larry correctly reasoned that if there was any play in the Trump suit that mattered, like they were going to guess it right no matter what, which is true on this auction. They knew that East was much more likely to have short Trump than West.
Yes, and it was well judged. And look at what's about to happen here. David's going to get to lead this fourth trump. And Declare is actually going to lose 2 more tricks.
No, it's the same. I mean, he gets his.
Is it really the same?
Yeah, to say he pitches his club on the heart. So yeah, I mean it's.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
I thought there was one more loser there. You were correct.
Yeah, it just was not. He established instead of establish, he could have played to rough one the clubs. Instead, he played to establish his pitch, but he wasn't able to do both until he'll go down 1.
Yes, exactly. Right. I forgot that he had his pitch. So yes, that makes sense. And I guess he was hoping maybe for 10-9 third of hearts or something similar. Where the 8 of hearts would grow up as well. But it was theoretically possible that perhaps Larry had the ace of diamonds and not the king of clubs. But
yeah, and then they could. Right. And
right. Then he was trying to sneak a diamond through Larry's hypothetical ace of diamonds with the goal of then taking his rough and maybe trying to scramble home with enough tricks. But yeah.
Nice defense.
Very much so. We've had a few very good defenses here.
And so a club. Are you a preemptor with the east hand over a club opening? Red, white against red.
I'm an overcaller. I'm not a preemptor.
You're gonna bid a heart.
No, unless I missort my hand, I will not be bidding a heart. But I'm happy to overcall the diamond and get our side in there so that if partner has some hearts, they can feel a little bit more comfortable bidding.
Wes is going to be pretty excited with the diamond overcall on his hand.
Yeah.
Got quite a nice hand.
And 5 diamonds is a good contract, it looks like.
Sure is.
Yep. 5 diamonds is going to.
So let's see, east-west can make 5 diamonds. What can north-south make? Nothing, because they're off too much.
2 spades, 2
There are
hearts,
a lot of losers.
and 2 spades and 2 hearts. So they don't have a game north-south. And they be an expensive sacrifice at the 5 level.
Are you a doubler with this? I don't know if Dana's on board here anymore, but are you guys doublers with the south hand, or would you bid a heart?
I have a bit of heart. I think I'm strong enough to where I'm okay with taking a second bid. And so this distinction really is whether I'm good enough, whether I have to I only get 1 bid to show my hand, or whether I'm strong enough to be able to bid a second time. And facing an opening bid with a 10 count 5-4, I feel like I'm good enough. I'm at least somewhat invitational enough to be able to bid a heart and save the spades for later.
So Hammond has picked up 5 imps. What happened at the other table on the board that we just watched was the same start to the auction, and no trump transfer to clubs. Pass, double. Mitch as West redoubled. And I think that got Jeff to bid his suits up the line rather than risk 3 spades. So now he bid 3 diamonds, which was passed out. However, as we predicted, diamonds had some real issues. So 3 diamonds went down 3.
Well, he did draw trumps 1 at a time, which is maybe not ideal.
Well, they started with a spade and got the spade rough, and now they had all sorts of problems.
Right. So to answer Frank's question in chat, even with a 1 bid hand, could you bid a heart? I think the answer is yes. Although, with 5 hearts and 4 spades, if you get 1 bid to sort of show as much of your hand as you can, you often want to, you think of it as almost showing 8 of your 13 cards versus showing only 4 of them or 5 of them, let's say.
And this end, Wes is taking a long time on deciding what's his bid of once his partner, he's got this very good hand. Helps his partner's diamond overcall. And one thought is, does he bid, try to get high to keep, opponents from finding anything? Does he try to be more descriptive, perhaps showing us a singleton who's able to show a singleton
Okay.
heart?
So the issue is that he failed to alert, but this is 4+ hearts. Okay. Now life makes more sense.
See, okay. So I suppose when you're playing transfers here, you actually don't have the choice of whether to make a negative double or whether to show hearts, since you basically it's as if the opponents have passed.
Yeah.
But I do think I would still show hearts with the actual hand, even if double were to be negative.
Yeah.
Because it is just enough to be able to want to bid a second time.
So the real question is, if it goes past pass, are you doubling again?
Absolutely. Absolutely. My partner opened the bidding. I have a ace, king, king. And if partner wants to bid on the 5 level, I have enough that they can probably survive doing that. And I don't think they're making 5 diamonds, right?
Shows what you know, Adam.
Exactly.
Right. Particularly at these colors, your opponents could really be fooling around, and it turns
Right.
out.
It looks, I absolutely agree. It looks like in the south hand, it's pretty clear double when it comes back around. But you can go either way. You can taking your plus score and 5 diamonds doubled, or potentially making 5 hearts if partner has a suitable hand.
Yeah. And of course, you'll be sorely disappointed today when what partner shows up with the world's worst opening bid. Okay, maybe not the worst. I've seen worse, but it's certainly not very good for defending against 5 diamonds on the lie of the cards. So. And Al pointing out in the chat that Hammond didn't alert the double right away, and so I think there might have been a little bit of director involvement here, and that if you try to figure out the Hammond-Weichel agreements from their SSF and convention card, there are some instances of conflicting information. So sort of and to the point in chat about a clear break in tempo, I don't think this was North breaking tempo so much as this was North probably responding to or dealing with a director in the room, if I'm honest. I don't think North really has even a bridge problem over 5 diamonds. And
no,
I mean, like clearly
thinking about anything with
Ray
that.
was over there for a while, right? North and east bids are shown to south and west at the same time. So clearly the trade was over there for a while, but I think on the actual hand, even North just doesn't have even a thought over 5 diamonds.
Right. And as we sort of talked about, the south hand's doubles feels pretty much automatic, no matter what is going on the other side of the table. When there is a hesitation, you do have some ethical restrictions, but you're still supposed to bid your hand. And south double.
Right, and it's a good point. I do see and hear a lot of perhaps intermediate players who are trying to be ethical, or who have the idea that when your partner hesitates, you must pass, right? And that's entirely false. And in fact, one of the more damaging, or let's say, urban legends out there, because in fact, when partner hesitates, you must bid your hand as you would have if they hadn't hesitated, right? If that means pass, great, pass. If that means bid, great, bid. So you're going out of your way. You don't want to take advantage of the hesitation, so you can't do things that are suggested by it. But you're still allowed to bid your hand as you would have, right? So even if North did hesitate, South had a very clear double. And
so that's one part of that. And the other part is you also have to be damaged. And here they wound up in 5 diamonds doubled making, so not only was the bid automatic in terms of ethics, but there was no damage. That's
Yes,
another reason that this wasn't a thing. There's a bunch. The truth is, when you're not sure, like if you were in Hammond's seat and you weren't sure whether you were allowed to double or not, call a director and just ask them, step away from the table. Hey, I have this ethical question, because you want to find out. You're allowed to do that. That's what directors are there for.
yes. And we see 4 imps to the Wolfson squad when the other table played in 5 diamonds undoubled at the other table. And I am surprised that they managed to convince them that their 5 diamond bid was so constructive as to for it to
Mitch
double.
made had a power auction there. He Q-bid 2 clubs on the way, so I think they thought maybe this was more likely to make.
Perhaps, although with the south hand, when partner opens the bidding, you're at least when the opponent's bid to the 5 level, the thought at least crosses your mind that hey, maybe they're not making. But they judged well, and so that was 4 imps back to the Wolfson squad.
So here, 1 spade up.
Here it's interesting that on the responding to the takeout double by South, that North with 10 high points don't have quick tricks, only bid 2 diamonds. And
Yeah, I'm surprised as well. I mean, maybe they make a lot of off shape takeout doubles, and he was worried about jumping to 3 diamonds with only 4.
Yeah.
All right, tell me the truth, Adam. Would you have bid 1 no trump?
With how many of the hands? Good, because you could make a case for the east hand if you're feeling really optimistic. You could make a case for the west hand over the double if you're not playing transfers, and you could make a case for the north hand over the double. So how many of the hands would I have?
I was thinking the north hand, but you make a good case that the west hand probably should, but it might be playing transfers over a major double.
I would imagine they're playing transfers, and so 1 no trump was not available. And red white with a 7 count, you're not really all that thrilled, especially when partner has a limited opener. So but no, I think I would not bid a no trump as North. Partner likely has spade shortness, and even though they didn't raise, I'm still, the 9/4 is still just bad enough to where well, that and my hand has quick tricks, so that it feels a little bit better for playing in a suit contract than in no trump anyway.
Fair enough. Although hilariously, you do have 2 stoppers here.
Just the one. Just the one.
Well, it depends if West gets in, I suppose.
No, he started with king queen.
Oh, King Jack 10/4. Right, sorry.
King queen
I
jack
missed the
10.
card.
Yes. So you have just the one. If you had
Just the
10,
one stopper anyway.
but
You
then
almost had 2 stoppers.
he said forbidding a no trump, by the way. But 9/4 is just bad enough to where you need something good to happen, and maybe if partner gets in there and you're starting to evaluate, what game should we play, you might have it in the back of your mind that because they didn't raise, you want to play no trump. But and
And
now
with 10/4, you might have
Jeff
done.
Wilson in the other room also did bid 2 diamonds over the takeout double. So both tables sort of choosing to go a bit low with the sound. And in Jeff's case, he actually bought it for 2 diamonds, whereas Peter was pushed into 3. So we will see how they fare and whether that matters or not. Sure looks like it might, though, because there's a lot of handling to do here. And declare there's not very much friendly going on here, right? So declare has a lot of work to do to actually get up to 9 winners, and the defense have 4 pretty likely winners as a starting point.
North is probably hoping to play on somewhat of like cross rough lines to try and rough a couple of spades. But the
Well, and that the 10 of diamonds is a useful card.
yeah,
Dummy for sure. And to Jordan on Film's question in the chat about, would you rebid 2 spades with the East hand? I think it's a very valid question because, red, white, you could be, your partner Pat couldn't even bid over the double. So your partner probably doesn't have 10 points or because they might have redoubled. So in Larry's case, because they were playing a precision style, he could rebid 2 spades and feel like at least a bit more confident that he wasn't grossly overbidding, because his partner wouldn't necessarily play him for the World's Fair because he didn't open a strong club. In the other room, I think they probably didn't have that option or didn't have that luxury because they're not playing a strong club. And so they felt like when partner couldn't bid over the double, they didn't really have enough to suggest that their side get in there and compete. And so they just chose to pass. So this is maybe a small victory for a strong club.
You sound so sad to say that.
I don't know. This sort of situation is where you get to make a limited opening and can compete more effectively is one of the strong points for sure. And yes, Larry is also allergic to letting the opponents play at the 2 level. There is that.
Yes. So if he tries ace and a club. Oh, no, he's not trying ace and a club.
We may catch
First.
the heart first and
And
then
then
try
ace.
the ace of clubs.
It's like he's going to run out of winners though. He still has a spade loser in his hand that he can't dispose of. And while he
He
might,
in fact has a spade and a heart and a diamond loser in his hand.
right, exactly. It's going to be pretty hard to escape those.
Well, he actually can go down an extra trick here on a if he roughs this low, gets over rough. David roughs the spade, cashes a heart, and plays another heart through. Larry will make both his king and 6 of diamonds.
Oh, that would be very cute.
Well, and Larry might be able to help him along by returning a low spade as well. Say, hey, I want you to.
He's made a.
Well, it's still has this.
He has so many different
Just take all his losers, right?
1 loser on loser, 2 loser on losers, and eventually, surely he'll run out of losers.
But
Right now you're at low. Now at least he'll get his 2 diamonds at the end.
but he did avoid the thing that we were discussing, which is sort of right. That was,
And so we see Wilson did make. He actually made 3 in the other room, so that'll be 4 more hits to Wilson.
we're seeing some really good defense in this room, which is nice to see.
We are, and there's been very, very good defense.
Usually when there's less than stellar defense, I just say like, defending is hard. That's why bidding a lot is usually good, but it's nice to see some good defense.
From both sides.
From both sides, indeed. And 10,
So let's
14.
here, they're playing 14 plus to 17, no Trump. Yet Hammond chose not to rate this as a 14 plus hand.
I think I agree with that. The 3 jacks make it feel more minus to me.
Even with the 10 of hearts there.
Yeah. A singular 10 and the ace 9 double bit of spades don't quite make up for the smattering of jacks. And
would you play a double here is take out of diamonds or just strictly the majors?
it's very heavily weighted towards the majors. I think a lot of other people often play that 2 diamonds here is some sort of hand with both majors and maybe a bit less strictly 5-5. Some people even use 2 clubs in this spot as well after a minor pass and no trump. to show various hands with majors. This double, I think, is just a sort of, it's take out of diamonds. Certainly, there's an emphasis on the majors. So. And David has both, so bids 2 diamonds to say pick one. And the question is just whether Larry will be able to do that on the 2 level, or whether Peter will bid 3 diamonds right away.
So would you think that this 2 diamond bid, which is pick a major, promises that you'll, I mean, obviously he's done it here with a very weak hand. Just trying to find the right strain. If East had extras, would he have to do something, or does he have some reasonable expectation that when your partner Q bids here, you're gonna find, some people play that the Q bid promises that they'll bid again, in other words, versus here where they're obviously not trying to do that.
Yeah, these auctions are a bit difficult to sort out. I like, in response to a direct takeout double, I like having the Q bid promise another bid.
Mm-hmm.
But in these other auctions, where anything that's not a pretty much a 1x double auction, I think the Q bid is more focused on finding the right strain. So here, being sort of pick a major type thing. And if it's if we're focused on finding the right strain, then you can bid it with some of these more sort of flexible hands. Just trying to find you're just trying to find a fit.
It said that North chose not to compete the 3 diamonds with 4 diamonds. That he knows that his partner has 4 diamonds, because the type of hand that where South would only have 3 diamonds would be 4-4 in the majors, and clearly they're not playing 2 spades with partner having 4 spades. He knew he had at least an 8-card fit, but chose not to let them play 2 spades rather than compete at the level.
I'm surprised, actually. I mean, I know that I personally would have competed to 3 diamonds with the North hand, and partner always has 4, and sometimes they have 5 in this auction. And I have a reasonable enough hand where competing feels right.
This heart play is kind of funny, because now he got to win a trick cheaply, but he can't really enjoy it.
Right. Well, he doesn't really have an entry to dummy. He doesn't have a self-evident entry to dummy to take.
He's gonna get to end play South here, which is nice. Queen of Hearts. Although North can take him off of it by winning.
Right. I mean, North can rough this and play a club through, and it'll be briefly scary until things are until it's not.
Well, it also, I mean, the problem with roughing it also is now you feel like you can rough 2 clubs. So I think he did well not to.
Right. I mean, at least as things lie today. Had South had the ace of clubs, of course, North might have been eager to rough and get some clubs going, but there's not really that much of a rush here, since South does have safe red exits still. And so eventually Declarer will have to lose 2 more tricks to the Jack of Spades and Ace of Clubs, but that will be all. So that should be probably 1 to
Larry saved the trouble.
Hammett. Yes.
And 3 diamonds rates will go down 1, so it would have been a push either way had he competed the 3 diamonds.
Yes, and so Chad is talking about that Weichel also might have doubled 2 diamonds to say that he wanted to compete, which is sort of a middle ground between just passing and bidding 3 diamonds unilaterally. And in fact, he did in the other room. Wolfson did double 2 diamonds, but then they sold to 2 spades on even still. And
This feels like
a
we
lot
know
of-
Trump is a common. Oh, wait, oh, sorry. Yeah, it's gonna go 1-0 transfer, 2 hearts, 3-0. This is gonna be a boring auction. And they have to lose ace, king, ace.
Well, with the queen third of hearts on side, Declarer has an awful lot of tricks in 3-0. So we probably won't need to dig too deeply on this hand. 3 losers and call it a day.
Diamond, diamond. And now, yeah, you can just play king
Oh,
of hearts.
diamond, well, he's gonna shift. No, it won't be a diamond, and it'll shift to clubs.
You think I'll strip to a club?
That's, yeah, that's your only hope to set the hand.
Probably. I suppose if they shift to a low club,
Yeah, low club, yeah.
maybe they'll make a couple
I
extra.
mean, if North's hearts and clubs were reversed,
Mhm.
the hand goes down.
Yep.
If with the club shift.
This is true.
Right, so here, that's a good lesson point too. What Eric's talking about is you don't need a lot. South knows on this auction, which is going to be a no trump, 2 diamonds, 2 hearts, 3-0, that his partner doesn't have a whole lot, and he's trying to picture what possible hands his partner could have that would beat this. And the queen of clubs is one hand. The other is actually sort of like jack fourth of clubs. So he might,
Or jack third.
so he might play. Oh, so you're
You need a
saying
low club. I mean,
you're saying a low club is better.
Yeah.
Well, if partner has jack fourth, a low club would be
Right.
less good. So you have to guess which of those is likely. So, but either a low club is right if partner has the queen or most of the jack holdings, because declarer is going to guess wrong to play low, hoping that you have the jack
On
and
the jack,
something.
yeah.
So all of this was because this is not a very interesting board. We were able to get way ahead on the analysis. The play is
It's an interesting problem for the south hand as to what to do on at trick 2. It is almost an interesting problem from the north hand as to what do you lead, right? You
Right.
could almost make a case for leading a spade, trying to find your partner's 5-card suit. But you know, a diamond here feels pretty normal.
What do you think about that? You know, obviously, if we had no information from the auction and you know the opponents are in 3-0, you're looking at a hand that's pretty weak, and you know you're not going to be able to set up your suit and have entries probably. But on this auction where they transfer to hearts and then stay in 3-0 trump, when declare is likely to be short in hearts and have the other things.
And just the brief interlude here, and there you have it, a low club shift.
Yeah, with maybe 3 seconds thought.
Yes.
Came out pretty quickly.
Of course, for his trouble, he's now going to get squeezed in the black suits, and declares I think going to make the rest. So this will, actually,
Well, yeah.
I mean, so they only made 4 in the other room, and for Bob's trouble, he will have today given up 2 tricks, but
yeah, that's right.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think it's still the right play, but I suppose you do have to weigh a little bit, when if a play gives up 1 or 2 tricks so frequently that it almost swings the imp odds.
Well, at match points, you might have just tried laying down the ace and king, because again, you can win in some positions where like partner has jack fourth.
Yes.
And also taking tricks at match points feels good.
Right. And to get back to your earlier point about leading from 5 bad diamonds, give partner ace fourth, right, and make the diamonds 2-2. Now, even though you don't have much in the way of diamonds, the opponents is king, queen, jack all come tumbling down, and it's the length in the suit that matters. And while you don't have very many high cards yourself, I think there's still such a strong priority and such a strong bias towards leading your own 5-card suit or trying to find partners 5-card suit, because that's where the tricks come from, right? And here, I have a 5-card suit. I don't need to go fishing for another one. I think I just lead a diamond and call it a day.
All right, and it's also not as likely to set up the opponent's something or other. 5 small feels like it's just normal.
That too. But yes, this is the sort of hand as Chad
Hammond's
is
already had
discussing,
such a spade, so this is gonna be,
and about a
I
bit.
think we did the rest for declarer.
Yes, yes. Yeah, this is the sort of hand that is far more interesting at match points, where this decision is just as costly as any other decision, whether that's whether to bid a slam or not, or a part score deal or anything else. This decision from South is just as meaningful and just as important versus here at Imps, where yes, it's a 2-imp swing, but that's not the end of the world.
All right. Is that an opener for you, or let's see, 4, 8, 10? I think it's a normal one diamond opening.
Yeah,
At
you turn the queen of hearts into the jack, then it's a question of whether it's an opener.
first seat white red. How disgusting can your preempts be?
Far more than this.
Yeah, so that's often my problem with like not opening this hand first seat white red, even if you turn the queen into the jack. I think my partner expects much less than this for a first seat 2 diamond call or something.
Right. Well, and then it's a question of are there hands that are too good for a preempt and too bad to open the bidding?
Are
And
you
some
agree with that?
people have very differing views on this. Some people say no. Either it's good. Either it's bad enough for a preempt or good enough to open the bidding, and others choose to pass some of those hands. And
Eric, where do you lie on this?
I think there's some hands that could fit that, but it would be a rare hand.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so if you turn the queen of hearts into let's say the jack of hearts, right? For me, that would still be a 1-level opener. And if you got rid of the queen of hearts entirely and turned it into the 3 of hearts, it would probably be a 2 diamond.
For me, that's still close at these colors with 2 aces.
Yeah, it doesn't feel great. And certainly if you made the queen of hearts the queen of diamonds, for example, or even a low, a 7th diamond or some of these other things.
So here again, they've gotten to a 23, white non-vol 23.3 no trump, but with a really nice diamond fit. So they start out with 7 tricks, and then they're going to need to, and they can set up clearly a heart for the 8th trick, but they're going to have work cut out to get that 9th trick.
Well, David might just give it to them on open.
Might be leads a spade. Oh, call the tournament director.
I mean, certainly I would lead a spade from David's hand.
I think I would too. But I love the 3-no bid here. Now, normally I don't like game forcing with 12 counts, and this is like a pretty nondescript 12 count. But when your partner bids 1 diamond, 2 diamonds, suddenly like the king, queen, 10 of diamonds is worth a lot. So
yeah, well, your queen and a spade feels like you really, really want the lead coming to your spades. In my sort of opening style, truthfully, I would invite with the south hand.
I'm sorry,
you'd invite with the south hand.
Yes.
Yeah.
Even with your partner having bid diamonds twice?
Probably. Even on the actual hand, I'd be a little bit sad to miss game on the actual hand, but I think this is sort of a pretty good fit that I would be, maybe my spots are good enough that I would just close my eyes and bid game. I don't know.
I think on almost any other auction, I wouldn't be forcing the game. If partner like opens a spade and you bid a no trump and partner bids 2 potatoes, I think I would invite. But
yeah, that's fair. I think you're probably right that it's that, and it's all of these spots. I mean, you kind of want to play like, Phantom from the 8. Like
All right. Do you have Barbu open in another screen? It feels like you probably.
I do not. And for all the talk about 10-10, I actually don't play very much Barbu at all. Certainly far less than Dana or Zach Grasse.
I thought Dana has retired from Barbu.
These days she is, yes. But you don't wind up retired from a game unless you played an awful lot of it first.
There are many games that I choose not to play against my sister. Although I was really thrilled to hear that Zach Grossack is perhaps better than Dana at Boggle, because she needed to be put in her place. She's been terrorizing.
Wait.
That's
What is
actually that's
this?
shocking to me.
What- Was this catnip to lure me out of my heckling mode and back into?
I mean, that's what I heard. Zach said he was better than you.
Well,
I think we're going to have to settle this.
many have claimed, that the mantle. But in all truth, Zach is a very good Boggle player, as is there are many bridge players who are excellent at Boggle.
Well, I don't know. Bronya has said that one of her initiatives is to try to get some games going and like some fun late night things. So maybe we could advertise a heavyweight Boggle championship of the world.
We might need Joanna Stansby to show up for that.
Oh, yeah.
Ron Smith also has played some Boggle in his day.
All right. Well, I think this is suddenly an event that we have. Tell us in the chat if anyone's willing to buy tickets to this. Trust me, by the way, if you're thinking Boggle is not that fun to watch, you haven't seen my sister play Boggle. It is unbelievable. You can't see her hand moving. It is so fast. Now, a lot of the words are made up, so that's somewhat of an issue.
So there's been a director call and no opening lead. Do you think Dad has boycotted the opening lead problem?
Well, I wonder if having clicked 3-0 instead of 2-0, maybe he's inviting.
Oh, maybe.
I doubt it's that. I would guess it's more either something about disclosure or like it's also possible that something is just going on in the room, right? You can imagine the shower is dripping, or there's something comes out of the ceiling.
Most likely is that my father's tablet isn't working and Hammond has called on his behalf.
That's also possible.
Someone come over here and turn on the thing.
Make David lead. I mean, I don't actually. This doesn't feel like that much of a lead problem. I lead fourth best for my longest and strongest. I have 2 outside entries. Like, great. I mean, today not so great, of course, but I don't think that's a very foreseeable problem, right?
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah, that's enough for the game to come home.
Yeah.
Yeah, declare. I would imagine we'll probably win this and play a heart to the queen.
There's
And
nothing the defense can do without switching some cards around.
But even there's nothing the defense could do on.
No, if you
Any
gave,
layout.
if you gave, well, yeah, you would have to switch the cards around a lot.
No, there's no layout that could.
well, I mean,
Switch
so
the
double
club,
dummy the defense, of
and
course.
give the ace of hearts to
Right.
ease.
Can't the defense lead a club to the king and put a spade through in theory, right? But
No, I'm saying it on once a spade is led, it's.
yes. Yes, that is correct. Once a spade is led,
It
there's
doesn't
absolutely
matter what the opposing cards are. it's-
Ew. even if the jack of clubs was in the other hand, that's still only 4-1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they had king jack third of clubs in east and ace 8 fourth over on the other side, can they lead the jack of clubs?
Mhm.
Queen, ace over to the.
Yeah.
Oh, no, they can't. They
Just-
can't.
The nine
Well,
rose.
just duck it. I mean, what clubs can they take other than ace,
Yeah.
king and jack?
The 9 does grow.
Fine.
So
But I
this,
thought that-
this is a good example of a hand that perhaps double dummy goes down, but in practice,
Yeah.
10 times out of 10 will always be making, because David is always going to be leading a spade, and that's number 8, and
Although-
Bidding
although
no
the
trump
point-
between Doubleton is always good.
Yeah.
In a lot of circumstances, I mean, lead from king empty fourth against a no trump contract is often a lead you try to avoid if there's anything better you can find. Because it often costs a trick. Now, maybe on the lead, but again, here there was no good alternative that stood out.
Yeah. And they are trying their best. I mean, here David did well to shift to a club, hoping that, maybe something good was going on there, right? But, today.
This is going to be an over trick.
Mhm. Yeah, and they made 4 in the other room, so that'll make it a push. Yes, that 9 of clubs is very important. And on the bottom,
Even on a passive,
I-
let's say passive diamond lead, the defense has to be careful when North is going to have to try to set up a club trick perhaps, and East needs to fly with the king of clubs.
All right,
Right.
enough hypothetical nonsense.
No, I mean it's an interesting point, but yes.
If you give
Yeah.
us too much time staring at a board, we'll find something interesting.
All right, so new hand.
Stare long enough at the bridge hand, and the bridge hand stares back at you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
1 heart, 2 hearts.
One would, again, as the cards lie. Well, no, you're not. You need too much work probably to.
So David has, I guess, what we might consider to be a bit of a heavy 2-heart bid, right? With some doubletons and pretty good suit, but not really enough to where he wants to stretch and make a limit raise or something. So yeah, I think sometimes you have a maximum for your bid. Certainly feels better if it's constructive as well, which yeah, usually 3 hearts constructive. The alert. And that may end the auction. Hammond chose not to double over 1 heart, which I think I agree with, especially at these colors. And I can't imagine he's eager to get in there over 2 hearts either.
Yeah, I'm not surprised that Larry moved on here.
So
Two, I
spades? So like a
let's see.
short suit try or.
Artificial. That's all I got.
It is artificial. That much is for sure.
Maybe it's a start to a short suit try.
I mean, he can picture some not very good hands that would allow his hand to make game.
Yeah, I mean, today partner has the ace jack 6, the clubs opposite is void, right? If you move that ace of clubs into the
I wonder, well, I guess 2 spades, since it's just artificial, won't deter Hammond from the spade lead. I don't
yeah, I
think.
mean, all of his other options are dismal enough that I think he's
Yeah.
happy to still do that. And unless there's some mirrors that Larry picked up, he's probably going to have a hard time picking up the trump suit here. It seems normal to take a sort of couple intra finesses, play a heart to the 7.
Yeah, but he's in trouble anyway. I think he can't, even if he just plays to rough a diamond, the north hand can over rough, and that's the 4th trick for the defense.
Yes.
Right, he's really gonna have to hope diamonds. Claire's probably hoping diamonds need to be 3-3, and somehow he holds his trump losers to 1 to make this.
Right. I mean, today David has it just has the wrong hand for him.
Yeah, he does have wrong hand, although he almost had the right hand.
Almost.
King doubleton of diamonds was a good start. 2 small spades was a good start. It was just everything else was not
Right.
so good.
Needed a hard honor.
Right. I mean, when partner makes a game try here, like you do have a pretty good hand for them. It's hard to partner doesn't always have a club void.
Yeah, I mean, the partner's fragmented in clubs instead of spades. This was going to be like, I mean, the opponents might have said something at some point, but
right. I mean, mostly it's a question of, I guess, what is 2 spades, right? Artificial, but artificial what?
that's none of your business, Mr. Kaplan.
It seems. But if two spades was start of some sort of short suit try.
Ooh, a spade, doesn't really help.
No, I mean this kind of does, in that he might now think about winning the ace of hearts and playing 3 rounds of diamonds spade,
Yeah.
which I mean is a huge winner on this hand when South
Yeah, I mean, he could also win the ace, play a diamond over, play the ace of clubs, pitching a spade from his hand, and then play ace queen, pitching a spade.
I think there's a lot to be said for that, right? Because doesn't that
Yeah, now, right, you can do
Yeah.
that, and North can rough the diamond and play another trump. But
now
now
you're
you're
gonna-
able to
you just cover it.
rough a diamond.
right?
You're able to set up your diamonds with a rough, pitch 1 spade on the ace of clubs. But still losing 2 hearts. No, that would it, and you still have to lose 1 of your spades. So you gotta still go down.
Right. There you need 2 roughs in the dummy one way or the other, and you can only get 1. Yeah. Although I mean when South drops the queen of hearts under the ace, right?
Yeah,
Now all of a sudden, you're at least starting to think about alternatives, but it just there isn't enough that you can do here, I don't think, right?
Yeah.
Because you need North to have 3 diamonds for something to work.
yeah.
And Larry will be a little bit disappointed when North roughs in and plays a heart here, but and now he has 3 things he needs to rough in the dummy and 1 pitch,
Mhm.
and that's just not quite enough. So he will finish 1 down still.
If you play, I don't think it matters. Yeah, it would have been the same. I think it would all been the same.
Yeah.
He gave it a chance.
Right. I mean, I think this was probably his best shot, right? Because he needs North to have at least 3 diamonds for him to survive this hand anyway.
Yeah.
North doesn't have 3 diamonds. Everything, nothing works.
Well,
Right.
well, 3 diamonds. Well, possibly if North had, that's
4 is possible. I mean, 4 would also work, right? Because South would be the one roughing, and they're they have presumably king queen 10 of hearts.
yeah.
But
Yeah,
All
that's,
right, new case. Normal looking 1 heart.
are you a doubler with David's hand?
I'm not a doubler. I'm closer to a 1 spade overcaller, but I'm not that either.
Okay. I have to admit, equal white, at least at match points, I'm a doubler. At imps, I suppose, probably not, but
That is deranged.
thank you.
The double is deranged.
Yes.
Well, this seems to be Berkowitz consensus, because David has indeed passed. But
1 spade was the big winner.
well, double would get us in there too. I mean, I would be surprised if Larry now gets in there with his shoddy spade suit and 9 count over an O trump. And yeah, it may be a little tricky for them to actually get in there, but
well, he might
Obviously,
go
moving
2
2 hearts.
hearts pass, and I think he did 2 spades.
that is true. That is true.
The result in the other room is impressive.
It is.
They bid a lot. Are you gonna raise with the north hand? I
We
think
also
that's
made a
awesome.
lot, but
Well, they're off 2 diamonds and a
Yeah.
club. I mean, the ace of clubs is on side.
yeah, I guess right. Everything is friendly. There's no diamond rough, and
Well,
2 hearts,
Well, you-
two hearts and a club. I said
Well,
diamonds.
but is that they're not able, you have to keep them from getting 2 club tricks
But they can't.
before, while when they still have, I mean, you gotta set up, knock out hearts and still also avoid, I mean, let's say, let's try a club lead to the Jack King. Now they go down.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, there is a defense to set 4 hearts. Yeah,
Yes.
it's tricky. You can't have to keep them from getting a club rough and be able to be in a position to cash 2 club tricks
Wow.
when they before they've knocked out, by the time they've knocked out your ace king of hearts.
Yeah, that's trying for the 3 spades. I don't know. The general rule is don't bury your partner for balancing, but I don't blame him for getting a little excited with his West hand.
He has an awful lot.
It's
Give
all-
them-
There's a lot.
I mean,
That's fun.
they can make 3. I mean, they have 9 tricks in spades.
Yeah.
I'm surprised Peter didn't double 3 hearts, actually. I would think that, given his hand, if his partner bids 4 hearts, he'll be pretty certain that it's right.
And 4 spades is on a club finesse.
4 spades has play.
Yeah.
I mean, looking at the hands, I'd be disappointed not to be there almost. The club finesse is, of course, into the opening bidder, so
Yeah, that's the only little problem.
not great, but certainly I've been in far worse games.
This is one of those ones where it would be nice if you had like the queen and jack of diamonds so that you could almost end play south. But that doesn't exist on this one, where your highest.
That and you have so many clubs that even
Yeah.
if you were to end play them twice, it's
Oh,
still,
yeah.
Unless
It
you have
doesn't
king of-
matter.
right.
You can
Yeah,
afford
they afford a
to,
rough slot.
you can afford it. That's true. Good point.
All right, so they got
3
to the
spades.
technical par contract. Or I guess 4 hearts doubled down 1. so
Defeating
par.
4 hearts is
Yeah, that's
requires a very nice defense. I mean, we've seen
Yeah.
some very nice defense.
yes, but 3 spades should be, I suppose, decently quick. Had they figured out to lead diamonds, I suppose you could beat 3 spades even by forcing a club rough, but that's pretty double dummy, pretty impossible. So
All right, so this looks like it's just gonna make, yep, very quickly.
yes, and that should be 11 imps to Wolfson.
I suspect he asked before he claimed whether or not the king of clubs was onside, but you
Yes.
never know.
That is again the nice thing about being in a room with one other person is you can just say, hey, do you have this card I'm claiming?
And when he was in 3, I'm sure he was reasonably happy that the king was offside.
Right, certainly you're hoping that when that when he asked Peter, hey, do you have the king of clubs? Peter said no. He's like, that's the right answer.
All right, so that's our first game swing, I think. We've had some swings, but that was our,
We have another strong club opening.
Yes.
Now we'll see what kind of how
how
aggressive
destructive.
or destructive South is going to bid over that.
Right. So, by the way, in the other room, Garner and Wilson are playing this in 4 hearts double as north south right now, which is maybe a little bit ambitious, but might actually get out for down 1. There's only one obvious loser in every suit. So,
Yes. The only problem is it doesn't.
You have no
seem-
entries. The problem is, yeah, it's tricky. Has no entry, limited entries to dummy.
right. I mean, you can rough out the ace of diamonds today, perhaps. But yeah, there's a lot of work. There's a lot of work to do, and getting out for down 1 would certainly be feel like an achievement today. So
And
we
the
see
problem is that
club and usually like 5 to 8 double.
East West don't have any particularly clear games that are making. I mean,
Yeah.
5 clubs, maybe double dummy. You could check the double dummy, but 5 clubs looks like it has. Double dummy, it probably makes. Single dummy, it looks very difficult.
I'm not even sure about double dummy at making. You have so few entries to the dummy and so much work to do.
Yeah.
So this double is a takeout, and David actually has kind of a problem over this double.
I think he might pass it.
He's got to. The thought at least has to cross his mind. They have the balance of power. He has 3 hearts and sort of scattered stuff, but
Oh, Adam can mouse over it to tell us what it is.
which
I would just take out. But with, so, okay.
yes. So his first double was 5 to 8. Then Larry's double was takeout, and now they are about to be in 4 diamonds, which
Yeah, they
is
did in fact do well not to.
maybe
get out for down 1 in the other room.
They got out for down 1 in the other room, so certainly there's a world where it's possible. But I honestly I think on a trump lead, 4 hearts is you're going to have a trump lead and a spade back. I think you're going to have a really hard time getting out for down 1.
But this is the table where they're defending well. We're not looking at the other table.
It's true. It's true. We will let their defense go unjudged.
Yes, we'll assume that the declare play has been spectacular. That's the.
Yes.
So it looks like he doesn't have much choice here other than playing a spade. I mean, maybe he could run the 10 of spades.
Yeah, so it looks like what happened in the other room, by the way. They did lead a trump and had a spade back, but then they shifted to a club rather than playing a second trump. And then they played lots of winners, and eventually Declarer was able to rough everything in time. But I think they might have been able to get it too.
That's a big difference.
Yes, a double dummy says no, but single
Double dummy says it's only down 1 anyway.
yes.
Okay. These hands are very difficult, not only to play, but to analyze. That's one of the nice things about writing. Larry and I both do analysis for the common game, which, by the way, if you ever play in the common game, you should look at, because those analyses are often very good. But sometimes you look at a deal and you're like, this is complicated. It could go a lot of different ways, and no one knows what's right. Like, and you just move on to the next one. Here, we're supposed to talk about it for a bunch of time, even though the answer is it's complicated. No one knows what's right. Maybe I'll just make fun of Dana instead.
Yeah, this is tricky. Is there's only one potential entry to the west stand, and Harry, I mean, you don't want to. You probably want to stay off trumps, but
You might even try something weird like the queen of clubs. Oh,
There you go. Yeah, your dad well.
trying to set up some tricks.
yeah.
Right. Well, he has suspiciously few tricks elsewhere, so that seems like a reasonable start.
Yeah.
They do standard signals, so the 6. So he knows North knows the South either as a singleton or doubleton club.
Right. Well, and if it's a doubleton, it's the 6-4, which would be a little odd for West for Dave not to have unblocked the 9 of clubs, perhaps. So you might be able to read into it as a singleton. Wow, we're just not we're leading away from all the aces today. I mean, again, he wants to
play another.
He wants to keep as much control as he can while building winners.
Yeah.
But
now David's going to get the bad news in the trump suit.
oh, there's so much more bad news to come. Very, very little about this hand contains any good news at all for David here.
Except the vulnerability. The vulnerability is probably good news.
He's very welcome, although
now it's going to be rough.
More bad.
Rough. I rough you rough.
Yes.
The vulnerability and the fact that 3 hearts doubled might have been making.
Yes, exactly. He probably chose the smallest minus today.
Yes.
So
Are you at all surprised that Hammond didn't try to double this, or do you think he was afraid that they might find something better?
his partner he has a double to the spade. His partner made a weak overcall and or a weak jump and was a passed hand, and he only has a 10 count. And the opponents have landed on the 4 level in his 5-card suit. I think he was just counting his blessings that he wasn't about to be defending 4 spades, and didn't really want to nudge them to a better spot, which I think is well judged. Certainly if you double and the opponent's bid 4 spades, you are regretting everything, every single one of your decisions that you've made. So, and it looks like
It's gonna,
The
Dave's gonna
defense
end
is
up just 2 more tricks.
3 more
Yes.
tricks for the defense.
Yeah.
So he will also be minus 200, except the slightly more painful way. And that should be 9 imps back to Hammond.
A little bit of a seesaw match.
Well, there are 120 boards, so we are, as after this board, 10% of the way there.
So you're saying no one should count their chickens yet?
Well, you can count them, just discount them by 90%.
What's happening here?
I think somebody tried. I went too quickly.
Somebody tried to claim, yeah.
Somebody tried claiming, and I think it was just the wrong number of tricks. And
Yeah, 6
was
tricks for declare.
solved. And yes. Okay.
9 imps as called. All right.
Mhm.
Let's see. Now on to board 13.
Yes.
Preempt or no?
It's the hard opening.
One open, one hard.
Yeah, it's hard.
Somebody gives you a 6-card major and an 11 count, you open the bidding.
Seems normal.
Of course, if you took, I would be unhappy to preempt this red anyway, because my hearts are really terrible. But
One hard feels better.
and
It's hard.
and this is another, I just point out something like East's hand, a lot of I see a lot of people overcalling really aggressively on the 2 level. And when you have 4 cards in the opponent's suit is one of those times when you really want to dial that back a bit, because it's more likely that it's sort of a misfit hand. There's a lot more work to do if you're declaring, and if your side actually belongs in the auction, usually your partner will have shortness in their suit and be able to get in there themselves. And so this is, I guess, more an interesting question of whether to play 4 hearts or 3 no trump as north-south. Bob will bid 2 clubs game forcing, and or Al is saying maybe not always game forcing.
Yep. Well, it's game forcing. Their notes are game forcing unless he rebids the suit,
Okay, got it.
which actually could pose a little bit of a bidding issue for South if Peter rebids 2 hearts, because if it was pure 2 or 1 game force, it'd be a very easy 3 club bid to bid and rebid the suit. Now it's a
Yeah, well, unless they play 2 hearts as 6, or perhaps maybe they have like a 3 diamond bid here is some sort of conventional thing that says I would have rebid 2. I have a forcing club rebid, but
So
seems like 4 hearts is probably. Theoretically 4 hearts is just down off the top, on
Yeah.
the right lead, but
even without
even without the right lead, there's not much hope here. 3-0 is not all that much better, I suppose.
He'd feel very good with a diamond lead. And less good.
That's
Well,
good.
3-0 is maybe hypothetically better, except that everything splits badly.
Everything-
So none of your tricks are
Right.
both of your suits that had a chance to be your 9th trick.
Yeah, there's also got a lot of communication
Yeah.
issues here. You can't even pull trumps cleanly.
That's true. That's true. This is playing in 4 hearts is not going to be a fun time. with
And
how do you even play this as declarer, right? You kind of
well, you say follow. I mean, I think you win, you play 2 rounds hard, and then you just have to probably play a, you know, you could play a. You have to hope that everything is favorable, and play it. Maybe play a diamond off it. You know, every suit is play a diamond off. Hope the ace of diamonds on side, clubs and hearts are 3-2. Then you're probably out.
I like what
Yeah.
Weissel's gonna do. I think he's gonna win the king of clubs and play another club up.
What is?
Well,
it doesn't feel right because you just
Yeah.
like there's a lot of times when you're just making this contract. I mean, the one thing he might have actually done, by the way, is he might have actually won the club in the dummy, cashed 2 hearts, and tried to play a club to his hand.
Well, when they never
kind of
dummy
needs-
again, but then you never get to dummy again. So
You
so
can, you can kind
Oh,
of
you
force
play-
entry in spades, but you don't have the 9 of spades.
no, not necessarily. You know, 9. But and here, I mean, one legitimate line is that West has Jack and 1 heart, and you'll be able to overtake if it goes Queen Jack on the next trick. You'll be able to overtake, and if clubs are 3-2, you score the contract.
Yes, this is true.
Show out's not going to be a happy.
yeah, show out and signal that you like spades. I don't know if we have their card, but I think they're playing odd even first discard, but I could be wrong.
Right.
They might, yeah.
So this is sort of a mild spade suit preference-y thing, discouraging in diamonds. So Larry now probably knows that declarer has the king of diamonds, which will allow him when he's in later to play a spade.
First discard is odd even for East West.
Yes. Right. So this even diamond is discouraging, and I suppose he was trying to give a mild suit preference even for spades by playing the 4 instead of the 2 of diamonds.
He has to decide whether to rough this or not.
Well, it's, you know, you rough it because that's the last. You're not going to give him a chance of taking the pitch.
Right. I mean, as long as David's given count in clubs, right, and he trusts that that's
Right.
what's happened here,
That's the
right?
issue. Yes, he has to trust.
Yeah,
it.
remaining
But-
count. Yeah, at this point, giving him a remaining count where the low is showing 3 more.
Right, because if declare had 3 clubs, you would feel very dumb.
Right. Right.
Well, right, exactly. Well, especially because he's not certain that David has the ace of spades, right? David might have been able to pitch a spade and really scream ace of spades, but he might even be imagining that David has the queen of spades, to where he needs to make sure that declarer can't just win a spade trick and draw trumps.
But wouldn't that argue that it might have been a better discard for West to play the 7 of spades?
I'm surprised that he didn't actually.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, I'm not sure what he was worried about.
pitching a discouraging diamond feels more like, hey, I have the queen of spades, or the king or queen, something more middling, versus pitching an encouraging spade, which is like, hey, I have the ace.
So if he thinks that my father has the queen, he might rough and play back a heart. And just pray that that he has the right read on the club suit.
Yeah,
Oh no,
it's not
this was
fair.
safer, I think.
Let's see. Is that a problem? Well, I guess that costs
No,
one.
because now he can, if he
Pitch a
trusts the
diamond.
defensive signals, he'll pitch a diamond here. And
Right.
but now they can get king of spades, a spade to the ace, and
Right. They can still
they
beat
could
it.
get a promotion.
Yes, but
Yeah,
they
right.
will
Yeah.
not. I would guess that maybe Larry wasn't
Sure about the ace of
Yeah,
spades.
so he's just end playing. I mean,
Yeah.
again, he's sort of guaranteeing the down.
Right. But I mean, he wasn't certain that of the count in the club suit, and wanted to make absolutely sure, perhaps at the cost of an under trick, that that they beat it at least one.
Yeah, I think that was probably the concern.
And I'll probably be telling David after the hand, why don't you signal that you like spades?
Yeah, well, I think seven of spades would have solved this problem
Yeah,
as
would have,
well, because you
right.
could have realized, hey, I can rough this, and we can just like cash 5 winners now. And
Well, and actually, and the sixth.
right, exactly. Well,
Well, not, I guess
No,
you
you can't do
can't do both.
everything.
You can't do everything. Yeah,
Not quite.
but you get your 5.
A precision 2 clubs, 10 to 15, and 6-card club suit. That seems very on par with what that hand is.
yes. And
That's-
Hammond has a little bit of a heavy.
Competitive here. By
Uh,
David.
They've bid 2 spades on hands that I wouldn't before, but I think it would be
It's still a 2
forcing.
way.
So Hammond's hand feels a little bit heavy just to overcall 2 diamonds, but I guess he's hoping that he'll be able to later bid spades and get most of his hand off his chest, versus if he starts with takeout double, he's just dreading hearing some number of hearts from partner.
Yeah, well, he's gonna hear the opponents get to spades first, I think. 'Cause I
Well,
think-
they don't really. I mean, I guess Larry will reopen double, and you know
I
he'll
mean,
raise.
Marcel might raise. He does have a three diamonds, an ace, a singleton. Nah, he chose not
Yeah,
to.
you have to give partners. I mean, you have to give partners some latitude.
Yeah, I think so.
this is-
I don't think I would raise with this hand.
Yeah, so I would expect Hammond to redouble this though, to say, "Hey, I had a really good 2 diamond overcall," and to invite.
So is what you know.
Yeah, I am constantly surprised. So I guess now he'll 2 spades come back to him. Now I mean Weichel probably will find a 3 diamond bid here, but if 2 spades comes back to Bob, he's done now, versus before where maybe he would have wanted to bid a little more.
I don't think Larry's in bid again, but I think Dad might bid 3 spades over this anyway. He knows his partner has a singleton diamond.
Yeah, I mean partner did make a takeout double. They're basically partner is very likely to have 3 spades,
Ah,
and
he went-
so he is a law-abiding citizen, we'll say.
He did also have pretty good defense against diamonds, so maybe he just wanted to find a plus.
Yeah, I don't love a 3 spade bid. I mean, partner is very unlikely to have 4 spades, especially when they pass over 3 diamonds. Right. Here,
You can read this. So 8 back. Spade. Well, is it
They
worth
really,
it?
well, they really want now start getting diamonds going.
Well, they should rough out the
After
king of
rough out,
clubs.
and then Trump return would really be best.
right. Well, Larry has to be thinking a little bit about what club he can't really afford to return the 8 of clubs.
You can return the 6 of clubs, right? Oh, Larry just switched immediately to a diamond.
Interesting. He knows that he can give his partner a rough though, so maybe he's concerned that it's better to lead diamonds from his side, right? If partner has a diamond honor, let's say.
Yeah, he didn't know that.
Well, I'll say Declare tries to get some spade roughs, and then he can give his partner a rough and clubs to lead a second trump through.
Exactly.
And
Oh,
if
yeah, that's
Declare,
that's cute.
if
That's,
Declare pulls trumps, then he's got to have some spade losers.
that's
Mhm.
cute. That's a very good point.
It's a nice play. There isn't as much urgency to get partner their club rough, because we'll be able to do that later, and the club rough is almost like it's an entry for partner.
Right,
Right, because otherwise Declare is just drawing Trump and you're gonna lose some spades.
right. Obviously, it'd be different if Larry only had 5 clubs and when there were prospect of 2 club roughs.
Yeah.
But here, you're more focused on cutting down the number of spade roughs and dummy.
So we see the other room played this in 3 hearts as north south, which is finished 2 down. How's Declare doing here? They have what, 4 spade losers and a heart, and
I mean, one spade you could rough, but then your king of clubs is going to get roughed.
right. So it feels like this is probably
Probably
finishing.
2 down, right?
Also.
Yeah, 2 down.
Again, on this nice defense.
Mhm.
By my boss, who, is so generous, and what else have you? So willing to give his charges raises, particularly for good view graph coverage.
But not so willing to give partner roughs. So here he's choosing again not to give partner a rough, since partner was going to win the spade.
Also, but David said by playing the 10 of spades, he was signaling, I'd rather, cut down on, rather play a diamond than get an immediate club rough.
Yeah.
Uh,
and of course today there's not, since Declare is going to take this rough, they have to come off the dummy with something.
right, and you
Either
get a
that's
chance to rough, right?
They'll still get their rough. Just
Yeah.
they've delayed the rough for as long as possible, but Larry will grab the king of hearts, probably cash the ace of spades even, or at least no, he'll keep the ace of spades so that he
keep the ace.
promotion if one exists. Now he'll return the 8 of clubs or something, and give
Or then the 5 or something, just in
rough.
case.
At this point he can afford the 8 of clubs too.
Well, I was thinking about he's thinking about cashing the ace of spades before the club rough.
Yeah, except that I
He probably knows.
He probably knows partner has the king, because the cleric could have tried
yeah.
spades a different way.
right. Well, I guess cashing the ace of spades, if he doesn't do it here, right, then there's still like a little bit to untangle, because they need to be careful not to let Declare enjoy their club. But
Yeah, the 10 of since Larry had the 10 of hearts, there's not going to be. I mean, there wouldn't be a spade heart squeeze against West.
right. Well, I mean, I yeah, and
Oh, he also has potential of a promotion if West had Jack 4th of diamonds.
exactly. So he may just return a low club, but
Oh, low heart, another clever play to force him into dummy.
Yeah,
right,
It's all sort of the same.
right. Is that it? I mean, there's just one more of this.
But this way, in case there was something squeezy.
okay.
No.
Yeah.
One more trick for the
One more trick.
defense.
You end up losing 3
He has to lose a
spade,
spade.
club rough, and a heart.
Now goes up that one. All right. More good defense. We like it.
Yep. They held off on their rough for as long as possible. Yeah.
Isn't this the old saying, like, if you want to get a rough, play trump?
Mm-hmm.
Usually we're first opening lead, but here it was, later on in the deal.
So here, because 3 passes to the north hand, is you upgrade that to a 2-no trump opening bid with the 5 clubs. Good 5 club looks like a good shot.
To me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not only that, but I again, a lot of positional values as well, where I really want to make sure
You don't want the partner playing no trump.
And this is our last board of the set. So thank you everyone for tuning in. This has been a fun couple hours. Let me go look up and see who's joining for later sets today. So Hammond will probably show some sort of Smoleny thing. I don't know what they play over 2-no. So Eric maybe. No, Eric certainly will know more than I do. About that.
Well,
See
3
if
clubs
they say.
wasn't alerted. And 3 diamonds was. Go figure.
Their alerting is sometimes a little,
We'll say it's the machines.
it's
And
creative.
systemic.
Yeah. They have a very limited convention card.
So this may just be normal Smolin. Let's see.
Yeah, they play Smolin. Yeah.
Yeah, so no 4-card major, but maybe 5 spades. That's interesting. Yeah, so it looks like for segment 2 today, we have Ewan McNay, I'm mangling the name, but and George Jacobs and Mike Pacell will be commenting for segment 2. That'll start at 1:45 Eastern, so about 20 minutes from now. And then after the lunch break, we'll have Tracy Bauer and Chip Martell and Jeff Froman for segment 3 at 5 p.m. And then we'll have TBD for the last segment today. So I suspect Jen will probably update that later on today, but lots more commentary to come.
All great commentators, particularly TBD has been wonderful.
TBD has been fantastic. Great sense of humor.
I think we were TBD for a while.
So North is considering, even he knows he has an 8-card heart fit, but he also, would he prefer to play in 3? No. I mean, partner has announced 4 spades, so it's queen and 1 opposite partners 4 spades may be sufficient stop there.
Yeah.
It's a tough decision because you kind of do want to be roughing a spade in your hand, or at least you want to have that option available. But there, you can imagine there's some hands where there's 9 winners in either contract.
And goes back to 4 hearts. Well, I think sadly Larry's probably leading a diamond against any of these.
Into the 2-no Trump opener?
Well, what else is attractive? Maybe he'll lead a Trump again.
Not Trump. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, a Trump blows up partners Trump holding today, but
You have no attractive leads.
Yeah.
certainly not. I'd be tempted to lead a Trump. But I always
Or the
Trump. Trump.
A Trump. A Trump.
yes, a Trump. So is Larry. Look at that. And David will be thrilled about this Trump lead, over the moon with his king 10-3. So thanks, partner, in blowing up the suit. But it happens, and well, frankly, he didn't really have very many other attractive options. So
You might even just play low here in case there's some. Oh no, but at the time.
no, it's often true that you don't want to play your Trump honors when when your side is leading Trump in case over rough.
Yeah.
But
You only get
here,
dummy and entry.
you wanted to keep him off down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dummy has limited entries as it is. You don't want to.
I'll certainly wait 1 round.
So it's an interesting question as to Larry's choice to lead the 7 of hearts versus the 4 of hearts. Whether that's maybe some sort of suit preference type thing. I think there's certainly a world where that's the case. Or at least in the back of your mind when you're choosing between the 2 to lead, you might think, oh, well, I'll lead the higher one. And, in case it does come in, that, partner can play me for something in the high suits versus in clubs.
Peter's trying to be tricky in the club suit here with,
Yes.
pretending he might, for example, he might have king, queen, 10, 5th or something and hoping that he could steal 2 club tricks, but Larry wasn't going to fall for it.
Larry's not having any of that today.
Yeah. This is cute. He's sort of like threatening the rough.
Yeah. I mean, today, probably just pitch a diamond from the dummy, and if they rough, so be it. And if not, you can win this, play ace and rough a diamond, take a heart finesse, and I guess have the rest except for 1.
Yeah.
So
Another one of these ones where one of the defenders was just always unplayed.
Yes. So we will most likely have a push on this board. So that will leave us with Wolfson having a 1 imp lead. And as much as you might want to stop the play and call it a day, Michael, we do have, I guess, 7 more segments to go. So should be a fun couple days.
Yeah. Oh, does he have an entry
Oh, that's-
problem? Yeah.
That's. So he might, that's a nice play. So by covering the heart, now to pull the trump, he doesn't, has a clear entry back to his hand, so he may just have to play some of his winners out of his hand
That's true.
to giving,
Well, he can
so-
play one of his winners out of his hand, but it gets roughed.
well, I'm thinking, yeah.
And then he can eventually rough his
his
face.
Right. No, this is a nice play. So I spoke too soon. It will be and
So he didn't blow up a trump trick.
yes.
Wes got his trump trick.
He promoted his 3.
Despite Larry's best efforts, David has managed to still keep his trump trick. Yes.
Oops.
And so they'll have to give up one. They'll have to
Oh, the king of diamonds still
Yeah.
outside.
Yes. So that'll be actually 1M for Wilson. So they will double their lead. 2
A
M's.
commanding lead.
Yes. Yes. A hard fought doubling of their lead.
All right. Nice defense. Again, nice defense.
Yes, we've had a lot of nice defenses. This has been a lot of fun to watch this table. It sounded like the Hammond team is currently only 4-handed because I believe one of their team members was ill and had to go home. And so yeah, we will be seeing this Hammond team lineup all day. And hopefully they're Shermer is ill. So hopefully he will rest and recover and be good to go if they do wind up winning. So
All right. Well, thank you all for watching. Thanks, Adam. It's been fun.
it has.
Thank you, Dana, for lurking somewhere. Thanks, Eric, for filling in.
Yes, absolutely. Thanks everybody. This was fun as always, and I will probably be hanging out in the chat some later today for watching some more of this match.
I'll
So-
be nervously watching as well, but probably not in the chat.
Yes, exactly. All righty.
Bye, everyone.
So I think Michael, you